Hey, trucking community, how you doing? This is Luis Lopez here with the Freight Guru. Today we're going to be discussing something that I think is very imperative for anybody in the transportation industry. If you're a fleet owner, if you're a dispatcher, or if you are in compliance, I think discussing hours of service is crucial. And I want to break that down for you and provide you a template that I believe will help you when you onboard a driver to make sure that that driver is very aware of your hours of service policies. And I'm going to provide you some caveats that I believe are going to help you with your hours of service if you were ever to get in an audit. And it's really important to understand what I mean by audit. Well, the Department of Transportation, if you have a safer rating that does not meet the national standards, could ultimately do a review of your DOT number. And during that review, you'd have to do a compliance review where you would have to verify your safety and company policies and specifically your hours of service. So the first thing I want to discuss is the ELD mandate. What does that entail? And then discuss what I feel are certain caveats that we as a trucking company, when I was running a trucking business, kind of removed from the ELD so that I could make it the most efficient for the day-to-day operations as well as for the driver. So here I'm providing you a template that I'm going to provide you on this YouTube video today on the hours of service mandate. And the first thing is that a driver's required to not drive more than a maximum of 11 hours in a 24-hour period, after which the driver is required a total of 10 consecutive off-duty hours, okay? Before starting to drive again, driver may split their required 10-hour off-duty period as long as a one off-duty period, whether in or out of the sleeper berth, is at least 2 hours long, and the other involves at least 7 consecutive hours spent in the sleeper berth. All sleeper berth pairings must add up to at least 10 hours. When used together, neither time period counts against the maximum 14-hour driving window. So what's really important about here, and I'm going to provide you this template, is to be very specific on what you're requiring your driver to do. And this is a document that I believe every driver and the compliance manager, fleet owner, or dispatcher, whoever's onboarding the driver, should thoroughly go through. And the one thing that I think is imperative is to speak about offenses and write-up violations during that conversation. And for us, in my experience, I think that a first offense should be a written up and a retrained offense. The second offense should be written up and suspended for 1 day. Third offense, written up and pay a fine, potentially suspend for a week, I think is a great idea. And then the fourth offense is terminated. So, when you're talking about transportation and your truck driver out on the road, if you're an owner-operator based fleet or if you're a company-owned fleet, your safety is priority over everything else, over getting on time to a pickup, getting on time to a delivery. Safety is vital. And the ELD mandate is going to be something that's going to be imperative if you were ever to get in an accident, God forbid, a fatal accident. That ELD mandate is going to be a massive part of your compliance review after you've gotten in that accident. So having the proper documentation, having the proper write-ups, showing that you're doing everything possible within your means to make sure that you are vetting the driver and you're constantly updating the driver on his failures is the key component to the fleet owner, dispatcher, or compliance manager, okay? So very, very important. And I'm going to provide you this template, and as you can see on the bottom of the template, once you have gone through the entire process with the driver would sign this. you would retain this in your driver file. Okay. The other caveat that I want to discuss is personal conveyance. I think this is where most trucking companies get into an issue. And the reason why I say that is because I just gave you an example here where I put absolutely no personal conveyance allowed as of 11/10/2020 indefinitely. And if you are caught attempting to use personal conveyance, there's a $500 fine. Because I think with drivers, personal conveyance can get misconstrued, and they tend to abuse of personal conveyance. You are more than able to use personal conveyance, and if that is something you decide to do as a fleet owner, dispatcher, or compliance manager, that's your right. But I think personal conveyance, I would rather add that time into the 14-hour window and eliminate personal conveyance completely. Because personal conveyance is personal conveyance. It is not, I can't make it to a pickup and I'm going to use 30 minutes of personal conveyance to get to the pickup or delivery. Personal conveyance is for purposes of I'm in the highway, I'm 22 minutes from a truck stop, I'm in bad weather, I need to use personal conveyance even though I've ran out of hours. That's what real personal conveyance is. But utilizing personal conveyance to get to a pickup, get to a delivery is not personal conveyance. And I think that it's imperative that you eliminate the personal conveyance and utilize the hours so that you are going above and beyond the regulations, and you're setting yourself up so that there are less risk in maybe that subjective definition of personal conveyance. So super imperative to do that. The other clarification on personal conveyance is that when your driver requests personal conveyance, right, you can make that exception when he calls it in and says, hey, look, I really need this personal conveyance. And then those are now exceptions to the rule. But I recommend removing personal conveyance. So today's podcast is about the ELD mandate and the update of the ELD mandate, the amount of hours the drivers are able to drive. This template's going to be provided to you so you can edit it, put your logo, maybe change some things, and then you can utilize it for your company and for your specific truckers that are in your fleet, either owner-operator based or company driver. The other thing I want to talk about is who I have felt has been the best ELD provider to utilize. And I think Keep Trucking does a very good job of providing you an online portal that is super easy to use, user-friendly. And also, the one thing I really like about Keep Trucking is that if I'm ever in a situation where I need a subunit and my unit's down, and what is a subunit? Well, a subunit is a unit that you would rent for a period of time because your leased unit is in repair, right? Either a compliance issue with the DOT or just a mechanical failure. So, like, if you lease a truck from Penske or Ryder, you have that sublease option within your agreement. And what I like about Keep Trucking is that if you have that issue where you need a subunit, you're able to go ahead and go to any truck stop and you can buy an ELD device pretty much at any truck stop. Where with other ELD providers, I don't think is as easy to find ELD machines in the truck stop. So I highly recommend utilizing Keep Trucking. Also, the other thing I like about Keep Trucking, for those of you that don't know or are new to the podcast, I am not only your freight coach, but I'm also in the business of creating software as a service. And our Truck Hub software, the one thing that we did in order to improve the experience for the dispatchers and fleet owners in the software is integrate the ELD device within the Truck Hub software through an API. So we've actually gotten the Keep Trucking ELD and created an API. Another reason why I like Keep Trucking, they have an open API, which makes it very easy to utilize their API documentation. and it's a very simple way to eliminate multiple pages on your computer and have one place where not only are you dispatching your trucks, but you're also updating your ELDs directly from your TMS platform. So today, to sum it up, if you are a fleet owner, compliance manager, dispatcher, and you're onboarding your drivers, we're going to provide you a very simple hours of service template in order to be able to make sure that you go through your hours of service form with your drivers. You make them sign it, you make them date it, and then you vet your driver not only on performance, physical health, years of experience, but on that ELD mandate that you as a trucking owner with a DOT number and an operating authority must meet. So again, if you have any questions, click the link below, and I'll be happy to help you out with those questions. You have a great day. This is the Freight Guru here signing off.